So I just had to check that it was still recording.
Yes?
¿Qué carajos está pasando allá?
I was going to ask you the same question.
¿Te enteraste de mis muchachos?
I heard that they attacked the DEA agent. Why would they do that?
¿Qué onda? Gustavo, ¿ya no te gusta hablar español? Eh? I didn't order this, and my men would never do this on their own. Someone gave the go-ahead.
Are you accusing me?
Oh.
I'm just saying they wouldn't act on their own. We lay low, and then we get the real story from my man who survived.
Your man is in custody.
Dios bendiga America. He's innocent until proven guilty, correct?
Well, keep me apprised.
Anytime you've got that kind of close proximity to the spine, there's always going to be cause for concern. But as I say, it's really too soon to tell.
Maybe we should get you home for a couple hours.
So what? The bullet was close to his spine.
I'm not going anywhere.
Me neither.
What if I ran over to the house and picked up a few things? Marie, I could swing by your place.
That'd be great. Thanks, Paul.
What? You just heard he came through? Yeah, well, it's, you know, guardedly good news.
Thank God. I'll take it. Hey, guys. This is Hank's brother-in-law, Walt. We're just swapping Hank stories.
Well, that could go on all day. God knows there's a million of them.
Guy who shot him, the one that's left, he's up there, got the painkillers going on, resting comfortably. You ought to see what Hank did to that bastard. Want to see?
Fucking hell. Oh man. Why, you're not going to argue with them lot, are you?
Comfortable, you piece of shit.
I was just waiting for him to say
Why isn't there anything cooking?
he's still not properly fixed his windshield.
This is Walter White. Reverend, so nice of you to call. Again.
Turn your phone on already.
I'll tell you what, why don't I just call you right back on my cell phone, okay?
I told you to wait. I don't know how many more ways I could say it.
Yeah, Dick, I was waiting, and that creepy quiet guy showed up.
Gus came by?
Not him, man. Apparently I'm not worthy of meeting him. It was the other one, the one that I'm qualified to speak to.
Do you remember when we were out in the desert with Tuco?
Oh, you mean when you put a machine gun to my head? Yeah, I think that does ring a tiny bell. Why?
He kept saying that someone was coming up from Mexico to get us. Do you remember? No. Who was that?
What the hell does this even got to do with
Oh.
I don't know. It was,
His cousins. Right, Jesse? It was his cousins.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that. Yeah, of course that would have been them, wouldn't it? Oh man, I'm such an idiot.
Well, I didn't know whose toothbrushes were whose, so I just stopped by the drugstore. Thank God for travel sizes, right? Is this what you were asking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I skimmed through it. Looks interesting.
Uncle Hank gave it to me. Pablo Escobar, this big drug guy in the 80s. It's more about the guys who investigated him and tried to bring him down. Some of them were DEA, you know. Uncle Hank said that they were worth learning about. That everybody knows who Pablo Escobar is, but nobody knows about the guys that brought him down. He said that good guys never get inked like the bad guys do.
That is true, actually, isn't it?
So he gave it to me. Figured I'd read it.
So I can expect delivery by tomorrow, as good.
Well, no, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to keep our schedule this week. But not for a lack of trying.
Is there something I should know?
Gail really screwed us up. I mean, not on purpose, of course, but he set us way back, and we've been playing catch-up ever since. We'll cook through the weekend, if necessary. We will have 400 pounds for you by next week.
I have your word on that.
You do. You have my word on that.
Thank you for the update.
Should he not just have been honest with him? I mean, he's not the kind of guy that you want to mess around with, is it?
How's everybody doing?
Well, as well as can be expected. It's this not knowing that's the hardest part, I think. Anything new on these guys? Who they are, what they wanted?
Nah, nothing yet, but we'll get it.
Steve? Do you think there could maybe be others?
Buddy, nobody's getting to Hank. That was their one shot and they blew it. So, no. No way. I'd love to walk in there and shoot that bastard right in the head.
Me too.
For different reasons, though.
Hey, you like pollos hermanos? Orders a big booster for the DEA. You heard what happened? He's gonna feed every cop in the building. And apparently he's bringing it by personally.
Guys, did you hear that? Mr. Fring is offering a $10,000 reward on any information about the case.
That's wonderful.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Fring.
You're very welcome. Men like your husband are the thin blue line between us and these animals. I only wish I could do more.
He's got some balls, doesn't he?
Again, I can't express how sorry I am. As it happens, I actually met Agent Schrader.
Really?
Our fun run a couple of months ago. Mr. Fring was one of our sponsors.
I talked for a few minutes with your husband. As
Oh.
a fact, Mr. White, your name came up.
So Walt doesn't know that he knows that they're related.
There happened to be a collection jar out for you. We spoke briefly about your health concerns. It was clear to me how deeply he cares for you. Well, I've taken up enough of your time.
You knew. You knew my brother-in-law was with the DEA.
I investigate everyone with whom I do business. But careful man wouldn't.
Your being here is this some sort of message?
I'm supporting my community. I hide in plain sight, same as you. Are we done?
No, listen, this attack on my brother-in-law, I don't understand it. I don't know what it means. I fear for my family.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
It was about time.
The assassin that survived is gravely injured. It's doubtful he'll live.
What's going on?
Oh, so the chicken's a distraction then.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Still
1,
nothing.
2, 3. All right, stopping compressions. Time.
8:43.
Time of death. 2043.
Burn in hell, you piece of shit.
Oh, that's Mike. Oh, fuck.
Yes? Juan?
I assume you heard the news.
Your man died. I heard. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. And meanwhile, I have federales surrounding my house. I think you're behind all this.
Why would I do this? How would it serve me?
That's the part I'm trying to figure out. Go off on your own, maybe? Would you actually think that would work? Are you still there, Gustavo?
Yes. I'm here.
I'll weather this, I always do. My brother's a police chief. I got connections. They'll get me through.
¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? Vayan a ver. ¿Qué diablos está pasando?
Oh, fuck. He's not to be messed with, is he? That was a really good episode. Yeah, I think it was up there with the last episode. It has a very good season so far. It's confusing now, but yeah, let's go through it. We had the starting scene with Jesse at the hospital, being outside having a fag cigarette, and Hank being brought in. I was a bit confused with that because it looked like when Hank saw the ambulance that he was sort of laughing a bit, and it was almost like he knew that that was Hank, but then he went over there and then found out that it was Hank, and he was a bit shocked. So yeah, I was a bit confusing, but yeah, when Pete showed up, yeah, Jesse was quite happy that it was Hank. Yeah, I suppose you would be, wouldn't you? But yeah. Then you had the scene with Gail getting fired. I don't know if it's just funny to me, but it's almost like, you know, he's getting fired from a proper job, you know, and the boss is sort of trying to explain to him why he was getting fired, and yeah, I don't know, it just seemed funny to me that, you know, it was like the same when he got hired. It was like a proper job interview, and it's like illegal business. You don't really sort of see that as like job interview and a proper like firing of somebody. But yeah, I just found it funny. Then obviously Jesse showed up, and Walt trying to explain to Gail, you know, they're not working out, and this Joker comes in. I would be a bit hurt as well if I was Gail. I quite like Gail. I hope they're not gonna get rid of Gail like they would do, because he like, he knows the business, he knows who they are. So yeah, I'm hoping they're not gonna get him killed, to sort of keep him quiet. Yeah. then obviously Jesse showing up and finding out that Walt, he's been stuck down there and there's no phones, or well, he's had his phone off, and he didn't know about Hank, so obviously Walt is going to have to go and find out what's going on with Hank, and Jesse is stuck in the I don't know if it's called would you call it a basement? It's not a basement, is it? In their kitchen, I suppose. Yeah, obviously bored. So yeah, Walt gets to the hospital and yeah, finds out what's going on, and that yeah, Hank got shot 4 times. Didn't realize it was as close to the spine as it was. That's obviously a problem, because you know when something hits the spine, it can make you paralyzed. I mean, I suppose either fully paralyzed or just paralyzed from the legs down. So that's a bit of a concern. I hope it's not going to be, because Hank is a really good character, and I would hate to see him come out of the game, because he is so good at working out all these things. So I hope it's not as serious as I'm thinking it might be. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. Obviously Marie's angry, and it's just easy just to lash out at the DEA guys for, you know, he was suspended, they had to take his gun, you know, which you can fully understand. But, you know, when you're in this situation as Marie, he's just been shot, you know, you want to blame somebody. So I can see from her point of view, but, you know, it's the heat of a moment, isn't it? And you can see Junior, he was obviously very upset as well. And like I said, when he got busted in season 1 for trying to buy alcohol, Hank was the one he rang. It wasn't Walt. So I sort of feel like Hank to Junior has been more of like a manly father figure than Walt has been, if that makes any sense. That's all what I get out of it, that he sees Hank as a more of a father figure, and more of a, you know, somebody he can look up to. So yeah, obviously Junior was quite upset, and as well as that, Junior, when Walt tried to get Junior drunk, well, he got Junior drunk, didn't he? Hank was trying to stop it. So yeah, I can see why Junior is, you know, very close to Hank. Then we had the whole scene as well with Jesse in the kitchen, just being absolutely bored out of his mind and just messing around with stuff. I thought that was quite funny. It reminded me a little bit of when he had to go and buy the bucket to put I can't remember his name now, from season 1, when they had to get rid of the body, and Walt told him to go and buy these like buckets, and he just ended up putting him in the bathtub. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that. Yeah, so obviously, yeah, Jesse's bored, and you know, he wants to get started, which you can understand, because they got a deadline, and if they don't stick to that deadline, you know, these are not the kind of guys you want to mess with. So yeah, I thought it was quite good, because it's so well written, because Walt, obviously, he's Hank is family, and then you got the whole DEA, and it's so well written, like Walt being able to get all this information out of the DEA, because, you know, they have that connection, and Walt obviously being a baddie at the moment, isn't he? So it's so clever how he's able to get information out of the DEA. I mean, they're talking and they shouldn't be, but you know, it's family, and they know Walt, and because obviously Walt survived the cancer, and they've known about the story. So yeah, just them letting Walt see the twin. I mean, who does that? You know, they're just all marched up there. It's just absolutely brilliant. And yeah, the twin saw Walden was trying to get to him. Obviously, he'd lost his legs, so yeah, that was yeah, that was a bit of a message to Walt, that, you know, I think he finally realized, you know, he is in danger, and he's putting his family in danger. Finally, he realizes that, because I mean, is it not a no-brainer that you're in that kind of business, your family is going to be in danger, you know, regardless? I mean, yeah. So we had Junior, well, Walt obviously went to get some stuff, and he gave Junior a book that Hank had given him, and I thought that was quite interesting because obviously Hank, he's quite proud of his job. He loves his job and he's proud of it, and he wants people to know how proud he is of the you know, the DEA, and it's true what he said, that it's always the bad guys, you know, who you hear about. It's not, you know, the heroes, and I think that is true because there are a lot of books and movies about these bad guys. You know, you don't really see them from like the DEA, FBI, you know, any kind that, you know, are fighting these guys. Yeah, you don't really get that. So like the only one I can think of is, but that's not really. It was Goodfellas, because they actually had the FBI agent working with them, and there is actually a commentary with the what's his name now, Henry Hill, and the FBI agent. They're doing the commentary for the movie, which is actually quite interesting. So yeah, if you haven't listened to that or seen it, I'll suggest you do, because that was actually quite interesting, that, you know, you get the FBI story as well. So that was a sidetrack. I didn't mean to do that, but yeah. Then obviously you had Walt getting in contact with Gus, trying to explain, you know, that they're a little bit behind, but they will make the time up. I mean, it didn't click that obviously Walt doesn't know that Gus knows that Walt is family to Hank, who is DEA. Yeah, it just didn't click. I didn't even think about that. So I can see now why Walt was lying his way out of why they're not getting the meth made, and obviously Gus knows that where Walt is. Of course, it turned out that Mike was there. So yeah, so I think Gus got Mike. He's sort of looking out for Walt. I think they're sort of yeah, they're looking out for him, aren't they? So I was like, why is he lying to Gus? Like, he should just tell him the truth where he is and that, because but I mean, obviously Walt didn't know that Gus knew that situation, so I thought that was very clever. And then yeah, we had Gus show up at the hospital with all the chicken. I think that was a distraction, getting all the, you know, the DEA, the police, everybody chicken, and that gave the you know, the distraction, so Mike could go up there and take care of the twin, the twin who survived. Yeah, very clever. And obviously Walt had the conversation with. It's so crazy, like because they're all sitting there. You know, you got Gus, you got Walt, and then you had Hank's superior. You know, all there together, having a conversation. Is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I can't even explain it. It's crazy. And then obviously Walt walking Gus out, and Walt finds out that Gus knew about their relationship. So Hank and Walt's relationship. So that was quite interesting. And yeah, it. Walt realized at this point that, you know, he is in danger, and yeah, it was quite good to see that, you know, it finally clicked that yeah, he has put his family in danger and he is in danger. I can't wait until we find out that the hit was meant to be on Walt. I can't wait to see his sort of expression and how he's going to react to that. I don't know if he's going to work it out or whether he's going to be told, but yeah, I find that quite interesting. So yeah, obviously with the whole chicken thing, we saw that Mike sort of snuck out of there. So I think I'm sort of trying to work it out as I'm talking, but I think then Mike was shadowing Hank, and Hank Mike saw the twins, and obviously he's got Hank's phone number from Gus, who probably got it from Walt, I don't know. And then so Mike was able to ring Hank and warn him that the twins were after him. And yeah, just gave Hank a little bit of a chance of surviving that hit. And then we had the end where Gus spoke to the cartel guy. I can't remember what his name was, but sort of arguing back and forth. Yeah, they're obviously not happy with the fact that Gus let the twins go after Hank. But yeah, Gus didn't really care because he set it up that he was just going to kill the cartel. I think that's going to be a very sticky situation because, I mean, it is a cartel, but I don't know how it works in the cartel sort of thing. If one goes, the other's gonna want revenge, or are they gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, this is so well written. This show is unbelievable. I really enjoyed this episode, so yeah, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen next. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here because I'm just talking and talking. So, but yeah, very good episode. And yeah, like I said, I've got Patreon. If you guys like to check out the full reactions, they're on there. And I just want to thank you guys for watching my reactions and commenting on that. I know there's a lot of hate for Skyler, but it's just funny that, you know, that same hate, we're not getting that for Walt, even though he is a really bad guy as well. I just find that interesting. But yeah, please continue to comment and subscribe and watch my reactions. And that being said, guys, I'll see you in the next reaction.